I am absolutely in shock. Clemson beats Florida State in Death Valley tonight. I mean, what a crazy game. Clemson wins 24-10 over the Seminoles. Clemson improves to 4-5. It's kind of feels weird to say improves. They're 3-4 in the ACC. Florida State falls to 4-5. They're 1-5 in the ACC. It's wild. All of this is wild. It's crazy. It doesn't make sense. And for anyone who's my age or maybe older than me, looking at Florida State, looking at Clemson, knowing the history that both of these schools have, it's weird to see them both be 4-5. Okay. I've talked about this at nauseum. You're probably like, Brian, would you just please shut up? But with that said, I mean, it's just weird. It's just really, really weird. I truly felt like that Florida State was going to win this ball game because they had more bright spots. Clemson came out and played them pretty solid overall. I think one of the biggest things is the time of possession heavily fell in Clemson's lap. They had the ball 34 minutes, 22 seconds versus 25 minutes and 38 seconds. Clemson never turned over the football. That was very big. We know that Florida State had a turnover in the first half. Of course, they threw the interception there as they were trying to drive down the field. They were trying to force it. Clemson won the penalty battle. Florida State had penalties at probably some of the worst moments you could possibly ask for on a football team. 5 penalties for 50 yards, but they might as well been 20 penalties for 200 yards at the time they came. Clemson, 2 penalties for 17 yards. In the first half, they had 1 for 7. So, I mean, very, very low in the whole penalty sort of deal. Florida State actually had more yards than Clemson, 360, 250 in the air, 110 on the ground. Clemson had 319, 221 in the air, 98 on the ground, 16 first downs for the Tigers, 19 for Florida State. Here's the really big thing. By the way, on third down, both of them were about the same, 5 of 15 for FSU, 4 of 15 for Clemson. So at the end of the day, that really didn't play that much of a factor. What I really look at with Clemson is that they jumped out in front and they pretty much kept it there. Florida State really couldn't get anything to go in. Penalties, that was very odd. I can't say that Clemson played this great second half. I mean, they only had 6 points in the second half. So of that 24-10 that you see, only 6 points was scored in the second half. So we saw some deficiency there. Yeah, you get your win and everything. And for anyone who just absolutely is thrilled, no matter what, you're going to overlook that Clemson could not score in the second half adequately, which will haunt them down the road, and it's haunted them all season. But hey, to each their own. Some people are just naturally happy. Some people have to take drugs to be naturally happy. You can figure out which one you are when it comes to Clemson football. But the Tigers get the win. They get the win. Let's talk about some of the yardage here. Randall had 15 carries for 48 yards. That was kind of interesting. I talked about the passing yards. Obviously, we know who the quarterbacks are. Castellanos threw the ball 43 times. And I'm going to tell you by looking at his stats, talked with TJ about this the other day. And he said, hey, if he's having to throw the ball a ton, I just don't see us winning. Coming into this game, I think he had only attempted something like 180, 185 passes. And when you consider how many games they had played up to this point, that's not a lot, considering that Klubnik had passed the ball a lot more than him coming into this game. And TJ was right. I mean, he knows his team. Castellanos threw the ball 43 times in this game. 43 times is crazy. He's 23 of 43, 250. Cade, on the other hand, threw the ball 27 times, and he completed it 20 times, 221, and a touchdown. I guess as we're looking at this, it's just kind of interesting to see how Castellanos having to throw the ball a lot, how that prophecy by TJ actually came true. I mean, if he throws the ball a lot, we're going to lose this ball game. It nailed it. Let's take a look at the defense. The defense, again, if Florida State completes a couple of passes, this game could be much different. They didn't, good for them. But here's the one thing, and I've noticed this. Let's go back to last week with the busted coverage against Duke, who, by the way, lost to UConn today. By the way, I don't know if you know this or not, Wake Forest, who just got smoked by Florida State last week, they just beat Virginia. So all that transitive stuff, sometimes you can do it. Most of the time, it just really doesn't work. It's interesting. It's a head scratcher. But you remember last week against Duke, I believe it was AJ Terrell or not AJ. I wish it was. Love Avion, but I wish we had AJ on the other side. But Avion Terrell actually blitzed from the corner. There was no help over the top. It was busted coverage. Barkate ended up scoring a touchdown. With that said, excuse me, we've noticed that Tom Allen likes to send Avion Terrell on a corner blitz. Avion Terrell finishes this game with 2 sacks today. There's something about using him to go in and sack, come off the edge that Tom Allen really likes. And today, especially on that big 4th down play, that was really, really big. And it was Avion Terrell who got to Castellanos. And I mean, it happened fast too. So very good play call there. I like the design. I like that it worked. But Clemson comes out of this game 4-5, 3-4. Now they're going up to Louisville on Friday. Now, I will toss this out there to you. As I just said, Wake Forest just beat number 14 Virginia, handing them their first conference loss. And that makes things really weird because, real quick, I'll give you ACC update. Just hang with me for a second. Virginia losing that game, and I'm going to refresh this because it's not refreshing. Everyone in the ACC has at least one conference loss now. Virginia was the only one without a conference loss, and they just lost. So now it's Georgia Tech with a loss, Virginia, Pittsburgh, SMU, and Louisville with a loss. And then you have Miami with 2 conference losses. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention Duke has 1 conference loss. Then you go on down, it's Duke with 2, it's Wake Forest with 3. Clemson has 4 conference losses. And then below that, you have Virginia Tech, California, NC State, North Carolina. They all have 3 conference losses. They're 2-3. Of course, Stanford 2-5, Florida State 1-5, Syracuse 1-6, and Boston College 0-6 in the conference. Okay, with that said, things just got really, really weird. And we're going to have to see how everyone responds. So Louisville coming in and winning against Clemson this week is a must for them, not only overall because, you just don't want to lose ball games, but now you have this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-way tie for first place in the ACC. 6-way tie. How crazy is that? Now, we know that some of this is going to sort itself out. I'm going to have to go look at that. But it's very, very interesting that happens. Louisville right now, they're playing Cal. They have the football. They're trying to drive down the field. They could very well lose this game. They're tied at 23 with about 15 seconds left in the game. This is a weird year. That's what I'm trying to get across. At the same time, you have a bunch of teams with 1 conference loss. Now, what's killing some of these teams, like Georgia Tech, they only have 1 loss overall. It's a conference loss, but it's 1 loss. Virginia has 2 losses. One's a conference loss. One was to a conference team, but it was not counted as a conference loss. That was NC State. They're very weird. Pittsburgh, 2 losses. SMU, 3 losses. Louisville, only 1 loss in conference. Duke, very weird. They're 5-4, but 4-1 in the ACC. Very odd stuff. Needless to say, it's an odd year with the ACC. Clemson, of all years for Clemson and Florida State or Florida State to be off, this would have been a give me year. If either one of these teams would have, let's just say you took one of their lower tier, and I know that's kind of weird how I explain it, but let's just say out of their really good teams out of the past 20 years, if you took like their third or fourth place best team and inserted them in this conference right now, I fully believe that they would be at the top of it, either one of them. If you took that 2013 Clemson football team that ended up getting throttled by Florida State won a national championship that year. That Clemson team was pretty doggone good. That may be Dabo Swinney's fourth best team, fifth best team. If you insert them in this ACC right now, Clemson will beat the crap out of everybody. Florida State. You put Florida State from 2015 in this conference right now, in this current conference. Florida State would probably be at the top of it, hands down. It's just really, really weird to watch both of these teams do what they're doing while the rest of the conference is doing what it's doing. It's just intriguing to me. I always like to look at it and kind of scratch my head and go, how did this play out this way? It's crazy. It's nuts. Now, again, Florida State, you played a good game. I don't know what's going on there, but I would tell you this. I text TJ. TJ was at the game. I didn't get to go see him. I told you I have car trouble, and I'm trying to figure out what's wrong with it. And I didn't want to push the car all the way it's an hour-plus drive for me with traffic and everything. With that said, I text TJ, not starting a rumor here. I'm not calling for anyone to be fired. With that said, I think Mike Norvell gets fired tonight. And I'm going to tell you why. Clemson has looked bad all season. I know Clemson fans, you go over to your favorite Clemson site and you get all fired up and you think being a good fan is by lying to yourself about how bad things are in Clemson. Things are bad in Clemson. They are. This is the biggest team you've beat all season. I mean, Troy, not that big. We know UNC and BC are terrible. BC is really bad. But you beating Florida State, that's good for you. But let me tell you this, it's really bad for Florida State. Because Florida State joins UNC and BC as teams that Clemson beat in conference this year. And I just don't see Mike Norvell surviving this one. Florida State, among a bunch of teams, they hand out these outlandish buyouts. I can't blame the coach for taking it. I mean, if the donors are willing to dedicate to it, that's not the coach's bad. It's the donors' bad. It's the administration. The administration, I mean, they're just like, oh, y'all will give us this money? Okay, of course we'll promise this, that, and the other. And some schools, a lot of schools, they're just not going to learn because people don't learn. People are arrogant. People are prideful. Most people don't like to say they're wrong. I mean, in most topologies, and I'm going off track here. Just hang with me for a second. Most people, when they apologize these days, they could be dead wrong. You could have them on video camera reading out loud, this is me and I am doing this wrong thing. When they apologize, what do? They do the wimpy thing. If I hurt you or if I did wrong, I'm sorry. That's not an apology. That is a wimpy way and a prideful way of just trying to get out of actually having to look and say, hey, I was wrong. I try to teach my boys not to be that way. That's a wimp. That's a coward. I don't care if you have a ton of success. If you do that crap, I mean, you're a wimp. But with that said, the schools are going to have to learn somehow. There has to be an incentive way of creating a contract. There is. It's just, will people agree with it? Given a solid base, which would be money we'd all, be thrilled to have, plus the incentive of winning. And when you don't hit that incentive of winning, there's no massive buyout waiting on you at the door to where someone's over leveraged. In regular business, every day, people don't do that, or else they would go bankrupt and shut their doors. Norvell, I think they're going to figure out a way to get rid of that $60 million or have someone, find someone to hire him so they can take part of it and so on. But I just don't see Mike surviving this one. You went into Clemson and Clemson beat you by 2 touchdowns. All right. Clemson is now 2-5 at home, going all the way back to South Carolina last year. Clemson has been bad. This is not your regular Dabo Swinney team. This is not your 2015 team. This is not 2014. This is not 2013. This is definitely not 2016 or 18. If the 2017 Clemson Tigers with Kelly Bryant walked out there and played tonight, Florida State would have lost by 50 points. That's how bad it was. That's how bad it would be. If the team from 2019 walked out and played Florida State tonight, they would have lost by 60. Florida State does not look good. And as someone who, I'm not a Florida State fan, but I do love college football, I'm sitting here looking at this going, this is a mess. And I just don't see how Norvell survives this. I really don't. And but at the same time, there's so many massive jobs open. Penn State, LSU, Florida. You could throw Auburn in there, but I think that Auburn has lost a lot of its luster. I really do. I believe that, especially everything that went down with Brian Harsin. If I'm understanding correctly what's went on, it seemed like correct. I'm going to stop there, but it didn't seem right. Something seemed off. With all of that said, who would you hire though? That's the thing. I just don't see him surviving. Now, I would not be shocked if I woke up tomorrow and for another week in a row, we have another coach fired. I mean, last week it was Hugh Freeze. Before that was Brian Kelly. Before that, what was Napier? Before that was what, Franklin? I mean, it's just every week someone else is getting fired. And we have way more jobs open than that. I mean, we have a ton of jobs that are open right now. And so it's just, I wouldn't be shocked. Let's talk about Clemson for a second. Or, I talked about the game. I talked about this. Folks, I did a video the other night, and I've talked about this since. So if you're watching me right now and you haven't seen those videos, I just want to make this perfectly clear. I woke up in the middle of the night, week before last, and I'm serious. I'm not being dramatic. I'm not making this up. But I woke up in the middle of the night, week before last, and 3 o'clock in the morning, wide awake. Have you ever had those moments? You're just like, wake, and you're thinking of something just like totally out of nowhere. Like you don't even, it doesn't even make sense that you're thinking what you're thinking. And I swear to you, I woke up like in the middle of the night, and one of the first thoughts I had, or it occurred to me as I was laying there at 3 a.m. wide awake, looking around. So I'm tired of complaining about the coaching staff. I really am. Now let me pause there and let me make this very clear. That's not because I'm wrong. It's because I can't change anything with the coaching staff. I can't. And I'm going to tell you this. I'm not going to sit here and beat the drum. You've heard me talk my talking points over and over and over. I have laid out very clearly, the changes that needs to be made. By the way, I think it's on Wikipedia. It may be somewhere else, but you can actually go and look at the position coaches that are coaching at Clemson right now, and you can see the job that they had before. The job they had before they have this job right now, and it tells you why you're seeing poor development. Because a lot of these guys, I'm not ripping them. I'm not getting personal. They need more time in the coaching oven, and they went straight to the top. Like this would be like if a kid graduated high school or got right out of college and they put him in the C-suite. So he or she never ever had to learn how to deal with the public, didn't learn how to just work a regular job and get their footing under. No, they come straight out of college. They come straight out of high school. Guess what? They're in the C-suite. They're the CEO. And you're like, how did that happen? And then the company doesn't do well. The company's not doing well. The company's failing. And so you can't blame the kid for taking the job because it's a lot of money. Someone said, we need to hire this person as the CEO, though their work experience is extremely limited. And you can't say that person would never be a CEO one day. But right now, they need to be getting experience somewhere else. And that's exactly what's happened at Clemson. And it's almost at every position. So I'm not going to keep beating that drum. I don't want Dabo fired. I'm sick and tired of people going, you want Dabo. I don't want Dabo fired, but I will tell you this. He cannot continue on this path. Pause. Oh, I can already hear it. I can already hear it right now. Dabo Swinney can do whatever he wants to. No, he can't and be successful. He can't. And I'm not saying that towards him. I'm saying that towards you. You're wrong. If I start lifting weights and eating well and really put a lot into lifting weights and become a championship bodybuilder, which that's not my thing, but if I did, and I win a couple of championships, and all of a sudden you see me propped up at McDonald's, and then I'm not lifting as much, and you're like, hey, did you retire? No, I'm still competing. Well, you can't eat that and barely lift. And, hey, you know what I've done? I can do whatever I want to. You and I both know that's not logical. That's not logical. I could be a championship racer, race car driver. Start driving around with a flat tire. Hey, I've won championships. I can do whatever I want. No, I can't. Investors. Oh, man, investing is like really a telltale. You get these guys who are really good at investing. I'm talking about like these day traders and stuff like that. The good ones, they'll be real quick to tell you. Like the ones that wants to have longevity and make a ton of money every day of the year for the rest of their lives, they will be the good ones, not the ones who get drunk with power and pride and all that much stuff, but the good ones, they'll look at you and go, I can't do whatever I want to and be successful. No. I can't log in to my account and go, hey, don't you know who's placing this trade? This is a winning trade. No, it's not. If it's a bad trade, you'll find out real quick by losing a lot of money. So for any of you out there, and there's somebody I run into you from time to time who says Coach Swinney can do whatever he wants just because of past success, he can, but he can't do that and be successful. You're wrong. Sorry. I know you've worked in business for 35 years and you think that that's okay. Yeah, most of those businesses fall apart, and I've witnessed it, and I'm sick and tired of entertaining nonsense. Coach Swinney and Nick Saban and anyone else that wants to be successful, no matter what walk of life, cannot come and go as they please. There's a very specific path. Eddie Van Halen can't, God rest his soul, when he was playing, couldn't get up and play an out-of-tune guitar. He had to tune it every time. And if he didn't, no matter if it's Van Halen or not, would sound like trash. The most successful people realize that you must be extremely disciplined, that you're not above doing the right thing, and that there's a very specific set of rules or path that you must abide by. And if you don't, you lose. Again, I'm not trashing Coach Swinney. I'm just straightening out everybody, and I'm doing that purposely, straightening out anyone who has that bunch of nonsense in their head. You're wrong. Sorry. I am just highly concerned that if Dabo Swinney wins this game, and he did, and maybe he gets a win against South Carolina, maybe pulls out, we know he's going to beat Furman, maybe pulls out a win against Louisville. Will the proper changes be made? I mean, I know for all of the people who are going to log on to some of the legacy Clemson forums, legacy Clemson Instagram pages. Go Tigers. Woohoo. You're getting your dopamine rush right now that they won. But will that be at the cost of long-term success starting next year or the year after? You have to think like that. Let me rephrase it. You don't have to do anything. But if you're serious about the team actually returning to a successful status, Coach Swinney is going to have to make coaching changes. And I'm not talking about one or two. I'm talking about a bunch. And so I'm just concerned that winning tonight, maybe winning a couple of more games this year, It would make you bowl eligible. He's going to beat Furman. Let's say he wins one out of, and that would put him at 5-5. Let's say he just wins either South Carolina, which I don't see. I don't see him beating Louisville. But let's just say he does. And he goes 6-6. And they go to a small bowl, but they call it the Victory Bowl. This is what we're building our momentum on for next year. We've persevered. We were 3-5. Does he fire that one coach a year that we've been seeing fired? Again, I'm just asking. Just asking for a friend. And that friend is named me. I mean, I would rather lose out the rest of the season if the proper changes come, and then in 3 years from now, we're sitting here talking about a legitimate championship football team. They're like, man, we went through 25, but man, that was the best thing that ever happened to us. Remember 70-33 losing to West Virginia in the Orange Bowl? That's one of the greatest things that ever happened to Clemson. But that night, it was awful. And after that, up into that next season, it was awful. It was terrible. No one wanted to talk about that. No one wanted to think about that. No, it wasn't good. No, it wasn't fun. Even when you look back in history, you look at 70-33. How could you ever do that? And then it hits you. That's how Brent Venables got here. So if Clemson loses that, riddle me this. If you had a choice, God gave you a choice, which there's much more important things in college football for God than for God to give you a choice over. But let's just have a little fun here. Let's not be so starchy. If God looked at you tonight and said, look, you have the choice. Clemson loses the rest of their games this year. They miss a bowl game. But at the end of the season, Coach Sweeney says, you know what? I need to make some major changes. And he goes out and he lets some people go. A lot of people go, unfortunately. But he brings in the best staff. And in 2 years, 3 years, we are back to that championship level. We'll go anywhere and beat anybody, anywhere, anytime. And potentially win legitimately a national championship. We don't need someone to fail for us to get into a playoff or into an ACC championship. We earned it. He gives you that choice, or he gives you this choice. You can win the rest of this season. You can feel good about this season. But for the next, until Coach Sweeney's contract runs out, the best season you'll ever have is maybe 9 wins. What would you take? Just asking. What would you take? This hypothetical, I know some of you will insult. That's totally fine. But I'm just telling you, if we win out the rest of this season, it may feel good in the moment that you're pulling for your Clemson team. I don't think it's the best case scenario for this Clemson team. I think they need to lose out. So it is hammered home. There are big problems in Clemson. And this is not a one-off, an outlier. And so I'm concerned. I am heavily concerned that that's what's going to happen. And I just say get used to 7 and 8 win seasons. Get used to it. And it that's kind of that. I'm going to get into the comment section real quick. Let me see. Don't know. We won. Yay. Good to see you in here. Keep Norvell campaign. What's up, Brian? Good win by the Tigers. Conservative offense. Painful. It's painful. They should have won the ball game. So does Dabo hire Norvell in December? Nah, I don't think so. Good win. Congrats on the win, Brian. Nice to win and definitely good for these guys. Hope this doesn't hinder the changes that need to be made in the offseason. I'm telling you, I didn't even see this comment. I'm telling you, folks, you look in the future. It doesn't look good. Got Christopher in here. Got Dan in here. I got Michael Forster in here. Good to see you, my man. Designs runs with a gimpy QB is pretty stupid. Rusty breaks. Yeah, when I saw him run a couple of times, I was sitting there going, boy, this is Russian roulette. What is this? A Clemson hate page? Huh. Let me see. Clean game, although we have stuff to work on. I'm glad the secondary was a little more aggressive, like the corner blitz. We've seen that a lot, but I'm glad he finally got there. Big Papa Bear, thanks so much for supporting the channel. It's a nice super chat. I really do appreciate it. It's very kind of you. Thank you so much. Loggerhead, why not just enjoy watching Clemson, man? Love my Tigers. I'm just thinking about long term. I'm not thinking about tonight. I'm thinking about, do we want to see 4 and 5 loss seasons consistently, or will we have like that 70-33 loss, and then that brought in Brent Venables and that changed the entire trajectory of the football team, and now we have championships because of it? That's how I'm approaching this. So while a lot of people will see me as being pessimistic, I'm actually looking at, hey, if it's kind of like going and getting the root canal. It hurts, but you end up putting a crown over it and it looks nice and stuff, and it's better in the long run. Yeah, that's how I'm approaching this. So I know that's not everyone's approach. They just want to win right now, and that's good. But I'm thinking about winning long term. So we just have different approaches, but I'm glad you're here. Let me see. Brian is consistent with his stance on the programs. Good to see you. Let me see. Sammy Brown is a big hitter. Ah, man. Yeah, absolutely. UVA quarterback got hurt during the game. Man, Chandler Morris, that's awful. Man. Let me see. We've only beat bad teams. We're bad. That's bad. I hate that. Let me see. Can you please stop patting yourself on the back every single week for your supposed prediction? Just give analysis. Huh. Okay. Yeah. Let's see. We still need 2 wins in the next 3 to be bowl eligible. Not liking the odds. Norvell. Let me see. FSU somehow outdirt Clemson. That's funny. Well, we really tried to run Cade a few more times at the end of the game. I mean, why not? Yeah, let's put the guy in a wheelchair. Let's put the guy in the wheelchair. Good to see you, Big John. Thanks for supporting the channel. Let me see. We won. This is a Ken Hatfield type team. Taco Gaming, 141 of us in here and only 13 likes. Come on now. It takes 2 seconds to hit the like button. I do appreciate that. Giving Norvell a big contract was a joke. Dude did nothing but ride the coattail of one good quarterback carrying a team. Good to see Andrew Roof. Thanks for supporting the channel. Tiger Tom, Dabo's not getting fired. No, and he shouldn't be fired. Alston, good to see you, my man. Good to see you. Good to see you in here. Let me see. And Louisville lost, folks. Louisville flipping lost. Wow. Holy smokes. Holy smokes, Louisville loses. Now let me give you the updated. Georgia Tech, Virginia, Pittsburgh, SMU, and Duke, all with 1 conference loss. Okay. That's not their overall. That's their conference loss. Now, Louisville and Miami are 2 loss conference teams. Wow. And I talked about this today, and I talked about this earlier. We saw Indiana almost lose. I told Indiana fans on my other channel, the College Football Podcast, the link's below in the description. I said, listen, November, if you get to November and you only have 1 loss or no losses, the key is focus. And everyone's going to swear on a stack of monk written Bibles that they're focused. Oh, I'm focused. I don't know about that. There's something about November that gets so many people, and this is proof of it. Louisville losing. That's wild. Virginia losing. Virginia lasted much longer than what I thought, but Louisville dropping game number 2 in conference, that's pretty doggone big. Oh, let me see. Sad Cal is bowl eligible before us. That's funny. That is funny. Are you sure we can beat Furman? Yeah. Yeah, I think so. If this was North Dakota State, we'd get hammered. No, I believe Dabo has seen the light. I hope so. And I want to say this too for anyone who's just like, I see the comments and everything, and I've been doing this for a while, so I'm used to people being angry at me, and so on. With that said, uh, I don't want Dabo Swinney to tarnish his legacy because he can go out a loser or he can go out a winner. And I truly do agree with him that he has a lot of football left in him. Remember, he's the same age right now that Nick Saban was when he took over Alabama. So he has a lot of football left in him. I agree with him. But the question is, what quality of football does he have left in him? I mean, is he, 5 years from now, 3 years from now, is he going to be talking about 16 and 18 like it was yesterday? And, he has a mirage of 4 and 5 lost seasons? Or will this be a guy who says, hey, I make the proper changes because, I need a staff to support me. And he's sitting there, a true, legitimate college football playoff contender. That's what I hope for him. And if losing today and the rest of the season shakes him and brings him to that point, and then the guy finishes out a massive winner, that's actually pulling for him. Someone's saying, I hope we make the Pop-Tart Bowl. Hambone, good to see you, Hambone. Been a while. Good to see you. It's undeniable that coaching is the problem. However, it's like a whodunit mystery for us anyway. Which coaches are the destabilizing factors? It's kind of hard to definitely tell. I agree with you for the most part. I agree with you. I think there's a lot of them that's been around during this fall, and I think you just have to basically start there. Let me see. FSU played like Clemson has played all year. That's good. Mr. Popples, I would rather win out, but you can have your negativity. Okay. See, what I was saying was they lose and then they win out for years, and you would take winning now. I get it. I mean, just teach their own. I think Dabo has been slapped straight between the eyes with the team problems, win out or not. I hope. Louisville loses, no chance we beat them now. Huh. As a Clemson fan, if you could get 9 wins every year, you have to take that. Don't forget who you are and have been until recently. Talk about unrealistic and ungrateful. Okay. Kate is banged up, yet how many design run plays did he have? Yeah, I know. All first-time Clemson coaches need to coach at the JC level and get experience. Yeah. Let me see. I trust in Swinney to always do the right thing. Lucky to have him as our leader. Proud alum here. Good to see you in here. Another quarterback draw. Yeah. Raleigh doesn't plan for the red zone. It's just like he wings it once he gets inside the 20. I understand your concern, but I think it was pretty obvious change was needed when we almost lost to Troy. I mean, yes, but we know. Yeah, I mean, there's so much. I don't know. There's so many things that went on literally right after the Troy loss that it just seemed like there was no problem. It was just a one-off, Let me see. Fire Norvell. Hatville did more with less talent. Agree 100%. Lose out to make some coaching changes. I've been saying this all year. Hate to lose, but that's the only way major changes are going to come. Yeah, that is what we know is that you're going to have this blast of positivity for a moment, and it's going to make everybody go, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I know that, those first 8 ball games that was that was just a fluke. But those last 4, man, that was where it was really at. And it's like, come on now, you know. Defensive line still played like trash, but of all y'all that was dogging Tom Allen, owe him apology. Give that man his flowers. Yeah, Tom Allen needs to be left alone. People needs to show some respect to Tom Allen. Guy can coach, you know. Let me see. So Bama lost to FSU and Clemson beat FSU by 14 points. Does that mean we're better? No, not at all. Best is the standard, yes. Going on through here. I was surprised seeing Brent Venables there tonight. That was really cool for me. And I said in the pregame, I would love to know what Brent Venables really thinks. Not if you stuck a microphone up in front of him and said, tell me what you think about the state of this program. Of course, he's not going to air it out. But I guarantee you he could look and go, that's wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong. During the championship years, we'd have never done any of this. What's up, Brian? I still feel Dabo's legacy is tarnished because of his childish post-game losing rants. It has not helped. But you also notice that a lot of that has stopped since Syracuse. Just got here, but the first quarter looked similar to what Clemson produces. The fourth down was a ballsy move. Good to see you, Tater Salad. Let me see. Finally got to see my Tigers win, but don't have hope for the rest except Furman. Next year needs a whole revamp. Good to see you, Daryl. First night game in the Valley for me. Good to see. I tell you this, win or lose, obviously wins better, but Death Valley at night's very special. Love it. Well, the defense got lucky on a lot of blown coverages because the FSU receivers had butterfingers. It did turn out different. Let me see. Y'all are crazy. Hope you talking about assistant coaches. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. We're not talking about Coach Swinney. And I'm going to say this for anyone who's not listening, or maybe I don't know. I don't know what goes. I don't know what some people hear, but I'm going to say this. I don't want Dabo Swinney fired. I need him, and Clemson needs him. You look at. In fact, I'm going to do something. I'm going to see if I can pull this up. Clemson football record. Clemson football record. I'm just going to pull up the Clemson football record, and I'm going to show this. So I'm going to put real numbers in front of you, and let me see. I want to make sure I mute the site because some of these sites actually has something playing. I want to put this in front of you. Dabo Swinney. I don't want the man fired, but his coaching staff has to be revamped. I'm not talking about one guy. I'm not talking about two guys. I'm talking about almost the entire coaching staff. Okay. I'm going to share my screen. This is from sports-reference.com. You can actually look at the seasons that Coach Swinney has had over the past 5 to 6 years. I'm going to share this, and you're going to see how every year they're losing more and more football games. Now, 5 losses this season already, and we still have the rest of the season. 4 losses, 3, 2, and 1. Now let's be really let's kind of be more chill. You got 11 wins there in 22, okay? But you lost the Orange Bowl, all right? You lost to South Carolina. That was the first home loss in a very, very long time. Okay, Clemson still had so much talent left on the team and remnants of some of that development of the coaches that had just been there, that's no longer there, that they still had the development. But when it was X's and O's time against South Carolina and against Tennessee blew them out of the water. Clemson lost. They lost 4 games in 23. They lost 4 games in 24. All 4 of those losses were against the best teams they played all season long. And Syracuse beat Miami to give Clemson the chance to go to the ACC championship. Now you're sitting at, and this is not updated for the win they just had, they're now 4-5. 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5. What can you really look at this point and go, hey, what was the change? A lot of people gravitates towards NIL and the transfer portal. But simultaneously, if you go back in Clemson history and you look, and I'm not going through all of this again, I'm just going to try to help some of you understand who thinks I'm dogging on Swinney. I'm not. I've said it 50 times now. So now if you say I am, you're lying. With that said, the coaching changes started happening. Guys started retiring or they started taking jobs at other schools. And from that point on, he started making a bunch of hires that if you go and look at their experience, most of them, they don't have the experience to be at Clemson now. They should be in another school growing like anyone else would grow in a career. I'm not taking a shot at them. In fact, this is bad for their career. And so I put that in front of you. You can either listen or you can keep saying, whatever you're going to say. But that's why I am highly concerned that you hit a little bit of a win streak, there won't be near the changes that needs to be made versus if you just go ahead and lose out, Coach Swinney goes in and makes changes at wholesale, and then suddenly in 3 years, you're like, wow, we're an actual championship contender versus if you win out and there's no changes, in 3 years, they're sitting here at a constant 4-5 loss team. That's what I'm trying to get across to people. Some are just being funny. Some are just being funny and trolling. Others are, I'm telling you, I've been on these Clemson sites and I've looked at the comment section. I'm telling you straight up, there's some people right now, I don't even know what they've been watching, but anyway, got 167 of you in here right now. I'm glad you're hanging out with me. I hope you'll subscribe. It is free. If you love Clemson football, I definitely hope that you will subscribe. Tater Salad asking, where has Madeline been? She apparently called the first quarter. Yes, Madeline. A lot of people don't know this, but I talked about this in the Troy game. You remember in the third quarter when Clemson was down, I think 16-3. All of a sudden they went tempo and they started scoring fast, got out in front, and then all of a sudden it went away. But I made mention that Coach Swinney actually went over to one of the rally cats named Madeline and went to her and said, would you like to call the plays? We're struggling. And Madeline knows nothing about football. She's a wonderful rally cat. She cheers with a smile on her face. She's very happy. She's very glad to be there. She moved here from Pennsylvania or New Jersey, somewhere up there. It's very common. And she's like, okay, call that play. And I'll be darned if we did not get a 30-yard gain. And they were like, wow, that flipping worked. Madeline, call another one. Just flip through here. Just anything, but make it fast. Don't rush. Don't pressure me. She's scrolling through there. That looks cute. She calls it. 17-yard gain. They're looking, going, holy smokes, 2 plays, 47 yards. We're in the red zone. We haven't moved the ball at this. Okay, Madeline, you got to be fast, okay? While they're running the play, we need you to be calling this, okay? Will you do that for us? Yeah, for sure. And they're like, look, we'll give you some gift cards to Ulta or Sephora, any of that makeup stuff you want. Okay, call another one. And she points at something, And she takes a little bit of her lipstick because, she's got to touch up, that's out there. It's hot and makeup's going to smear and everything. She doesn't want to look bad. And she's like, oh, make a change. And she just kind of scribbles something by accident with the lipstick. They end up running this play, and somehow one of the players told them the adjustment to the route. They score a touchdown. And then Madeline goes away. I got a chair now, okay? That's what he's referencing. Because that's what it looks like at times. It's like there's totally someone else calling plays, and then it just go away. Just go away. And so I came up. It was Madeline. She's the rally cat, and she can only be bothered every now and again in between a routine. I gotta kick my legs and shake my hair. No offense, rally cats, y'all are. And I'm just saying, I'm making fun of the football team. Okay, I'm making fun of you. It would be funny. So is Klubnik now courting Madeline? Not enough because it goes away. If he was dating Madeline, you'd be getting plays like crazy. It's great. This reminds me of a design on my favorite sweatshirt. I love it. It's comfy, but it's still classy without being stuffy. They score a 50-yard touchdown. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Hey, Brian, what are your thoughts on the Louisville game? Well, they just lost, and Brahms probably ticked. I still see us losing that game, and I haven't even done my prediction. I still see us losing that game because Florida State's that bad, and they proved it tonight. Duke, who lost to UConn today. UConn's not terrible, but UConn's not great. Duke just lost to them tonight, if anyone doesn't know that. Clemson loses to SMU. SMU, that they're not amazing. Louisville, in my opinion, is definitely better, even with the 2 losses, definitely better than SMU. And I think it's going to be a Friday night. Clemson they really don't do well on off nights. Like Monday night in Durham, not good. Clemson on a Friday night, 2017 at Syracuse, not good. You're going to Louisville to a team who just lost. You're going up there on a Friday night, and Brahms ticked. Not good. So, the thing that I want to tell everyone is if they were like Florida State, if they're like BC, but it's like right now, I'm going to look at the ACC right now and just call it out. Clemson's already lost to Georgia Tech. Clemson would lose to Virginia. Clemson would lose to Pittsburgh. They lost to SMU. They lost to Duke. I think they're going to lose to Louisville. They would lose to Miami. Wake Forest could potentially beat them. California could potentially beat them. NC State on the right night. NC State's sneaky. NC State is 5-4 overall, 2-3 in the ACC, but they are sneaky. Remember, they beat Virginia. Remember, they beat Georgia Tech. They have consistency problems. NC State could definitely beat Clemson. And you also have to look at this and go, well, Syracuse is 1-6. Here's the problem. Angeli played most of the game. Had Angeli stayed healthy, Syracuse right now, instead of being 3-7, 1-6 in the ACC, they could probably be 7-3 right now. Invert that. 7-3, maybe 8-2. Angeli was that good, by the way. But Clemson could lose to so many teams in the conference, and that's why I think that Norvell's fired. I think that they're going to get rid of him. Yeah. Anyway, it's going down. Tater Salad, I love you. That's pretty good, Brian. Let me say, definitely new character. Madeline. Okay, so me and the girls are going to show you this new little dooditty that we came up with. And so if y'all do it, I think you're going to score more touchdowns. Excuse me? Well, I was watching Miss Peggy and Kerms the other day. Excuse me? You were watching what? Sesame Street. Miss Peggy and Kerms. I love it. Brent put a fire under the defense. Louisville. I would not be shocked if Louisville unloaded all their frustration on Clemson. Do you think they'll use the transfer portal to get more players? I wouldn't be shocked if they picked up another couple of players. The focus here for this football team is anyway. Clemson played better, but Florida State's wheels came off after the loss to Virginia, and they never recovered. They left a lot of points on the field tonight. It could have been much closer. Brian, police say we're going to go shopping in the Madeline voice. Why not? I hope I live up to the expectation, because I kind of feel like I just don't know if I can nail this. Listen, we're going to go shopping. Madeline would beat Clemson. Don Mitchell. Yeah. So I tell you this, I absolutely love this. And here's the thing, and I'm going to end with this. There's a bunch of you in here. I just read this because they were so bad and so today. Still root for them. Okay. So anyway, I was reading comments. That's the reason why I need to stop reading comments, because Roger Parks just sent in something, and Tiger Tom. Here's what I look at with the team. You get your win. Okay, great. Wonderful. Now what? Yeah. Now what? And so we just need to see more development. That's our biggest problem. I've talked about this. So Clemson gets their win tonight. I think Florida State loses their coach tomorrow. You'll probably come out. You'll probably be sitting at church tomorrow and get an ESPN update that they fired Mike Norvell, and there goes another job open. The only way that I would see them not firing him is if they looked and they went, can we really compete with Florida, LSU, and Penn State to get a coach in here? And he did go out and hire a bunch of new coaches, and maybe you give them another season. And maybe you try to get out of this coaching cycle where there are so many coaches that are vying for these jobs, and maybe you could get lost in the mix and not get your hire. That's what I think. But we will see what this does for Clemson in the long term. I just hope that the right moves are made. So leave that alone there. All right, folks. Well, if you love college football, if you love Clemson football, I hope you'll subscribe to the channel. It is free. That's like free, huh? Anyway, that's enough Madeline. We're going to have to put up Madeline. Madeline, you go shopping. Here's your daddy's credit card. You put another dent in the Lexus? Shocker. Anyway, I hope you'll pass this along on the forums, X, Facebook, bathroom walls, at the rest area where all the good stuff is written. Yeah, let them know about my channel here. I hope you'll subscribe. It is free. If you want to support on a monthly basis, I do have a join button below the video. It is pretty affordable. Also, another college football podcast where I talk about college football as a whole. And so today, I barely got out by the skin of my teeth with Indiana. I felt like Louisville was going to win, lost that one. I felt like Virginia would step up. They lost that one. So today I'm not doing as well. And of course, I called Florida State to beat Clemson, lost that one. So this is probably my worst Saturday out of the year. It just goes back, folks, to can teams focus? It's very interesting. Well, folks, y'all take care of yourself. I hope you have a good evening. Hope you have a good rest of the weekend. May do a video tomorrow, especially if someone gets canned. Y'all take